Hey guys, welcome back to the Gears and Tool channel. Today we are doing a review of the Leatherman Skeletool KB. And this is their lightweight EDC pocket knife, kind of styled after the Skeletool line of multi-tools. First I want to talk about why I bought this mini knife, and then we'll kind of get into the details of what makes this knife special and why you might pick it over some other options out there. So before we get into the details of this knife, let's talk really quickly about why I bought this particular knife. So I was really looking to fill kind of a lightweight EDC role for, like, you know, if you're at a campsite, just sitting around a campfire, going over to the neighbor's house to have a beer, something like that. Or, you know, to throw into my emergency kit, something that doesn't add a lot of weight, something that doesn't cost a lot of money since it's not going to be a knife I use every day. So this really ticked all those boxes. Plus it looks pretty cool. It's modeled after the Leatherman Skeletool line of multi-tools, which has been a really popular line of multi-tools for them. And for good reason. You know, it's lightweight, has the skeletonized holes, it looks cool. It's got easy deployable knife blade with the thumb hole there. So I mean, it just checked a lot of boxes for me. So I went ahead and picked one up, and the final reason really is because you guys keep smashing that like button for me, and it helps me keep doing product reviews just like this one. So if you guys enjoy this video as we're going through the review, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out a lot and helps me continue to bring reviews like this to you on a regular basis. So let's talk about the details of this particular knife. First is there's nothing else in the box. You only get the knife itself, so we're going to put that aside. There's no sheath or anything like that you find with a lot of the Leatherman's multi-tools. So that's fine, just a knife. And the size and weight of this is truly astonishing. The length is 3.34 inches. The width is 0.81 inches. And the thickness on the knife body portion here is 0.227 inches. So teeny knife, guys. And then if you include kind of the pocket clip section here, which, you know, sits on the outside of your pocket, but it almost doubles the thickness to 0.54 inches. So truly a super small, compact knife here. And the most mind-blowing part of this knife is that it's only 1.3 ounces. I mean, it's entirely metal construction, and it's almost 1 ounce. It weighs 1.3 ounces, which just blows my mind. It's incredibly light. It feels light in your hand, but it doesn't feel cheap or plasticky or anything like that. So really amazing job by Leatherman to get a knife blade of this size into such a small package that weighs so little. Just to drive the point home of how stupidly light this multi-tool is you could have 5.5 of these in your pack for the same weight as a Leatherman Charge. You could have 2 of these for the same weight as a Benchmade Mini Griptilian. And even the Benchmade Bug Out is 1.8 ounces. So I mean, this thing is 30% lighter than a Benchmade Bug Out. So I cannot emphasize how light this knife is. It's really pretty remarkable considering it's got a locking blade and everything in there. So really impressed with the size and weight of this tool. So I've been going on and on about how compact and lightweight this knife is. Let's take a look at the knife blade itself. That's why we bought it, right? The knife blade comes out nice and smoothly. It's a little bit tricky at times just because you don't have a lot of handle to grip. It's a little bit of an acrobat. I mean, you get used to it, but there's really not much to hang on to on the back of that handle there with your fingers to, you know, get the leverage you need to pull the knife out. But you can do it one-handed. I really like that it has a locking mechanism, a liner lock. It's not a slip joint, so I really like that. And the liner lock does a nice job. Let's see if you can kind of zoom in here and see that. It's not in the center when it locks up, but it's not all the way over, which would be concerning. So it's a nice tight lockup. There's no up and down or side to side play, which is really nice to see in a frame this small. Sometimes you get these smaller frames, they get a little wiggly. So really nice lockup. I like the liner lock. It's always nice having that assurance that you're not gonna accidentally fold the knife on yourself when you're using it. So the blade itself is 2.29 inches long, which is reasonably large for a knife in this weight category. It is made from the 420 HC steel that Leatherman uses on most of their multi-tools. Now, that's one little thing I'm gonna kind of poo-poo a little bit. I don't have any real issue with the 420 HC knife steel when used on a multi-tool, especially since a lot of times you have an additional blade. Like if I grab this Charge here, a lot of times you have an additional blade. So you have your primary blade. If you have a problem with that, you have a secondary blade on the tool. So you don't always need the highest quality material. Now for a pocket knife, that's the only blade you got. So we know that Leatherman has 154 CM in their factory. They use it on the removable wire cutters of all their multi-tools. So I would really expect for a knife product coming out of Leatherman that they're using 154 cm at a minimum. I mean, S30B would be nice, but come on guys, 420 HC steel, not a bad steel, but it's been around a while. There's a lot of newer, more modern options that aren't that expensive. Moving on from the blade steel, I really do like this blade shape a lot. It's kind of got a reverse tanto shape to it. Really gives it a nice stout tip, which I really like because, you know, tips break sometimes. So here's a Kershaw I have, and you can see I broke the tip off on this one. And I don't even remember how I did it. I think I just kind of dropped it on carpet or wood. It wasn't like I was abusing the knife. It was just a simple drop and the tip snapped right off. So I really like the kind of reverse tanto, and they use a little bit thicker blade stock on these knives. And I've used them a lot with the Skeletool. The Leatherman Signal has a similar blade shape, and they work great. Had a nice hollow grind along the belly of the blade, which is going to make it an excellent slicer. So really happy with this knife. Comes out super smoothly with the thumb hole, which is nice. You don't have a thumb stud to catch on your pants or something like that in an ultra slim knife like this. So overall, really like the knife blade on this Skeletool KB. When I tested this knife on my knife sharpness tester, it was almost as sharp as my Benchmade bug out. Wasn't quite as sharp, but right up there in the razor sharp category. If you guys are interested in how I do my knife sharpness testing, I'm going to do a separate video on that just because it's a little bit of a more involved process. So if you're interested in that, I'll be releasing that in the next couple of weeks. So definitely hit that subscribe button so you don't miss that. So I really like the knife blade on this particular knife. Let's go ahead and take a look at the pocket clip. And look at that, we have a cap lifter in the pocket clip itself. I guess it's a multi-tool after all. Leatherman almost had us fooled. But cap lifter aside, it is a really nice pocket clip. It comes all the way to the very end of the handle, which I like. I mean, it's not quite a true deep carry where, you know, it folds back on itself, but it's bolted at the very end of the handle. Leatherman really scooted it up as far as they possibly could, which I appreciate. I also like the super long pocket clip on this knife, just because on these smaller knives, they tend to kind of like a set of keys almost jingle around in your pocket, kind of flop around. And if it has a short little stubby pocket clip, it's, you know, possible it just flips right over the side of your pocket. So definitely like the long, slim pocket clip. It's going to keep it nice and secure in your pocket, regardless of what type of pants you're wearing, if it's gym shorts or whatever. Let's go ahead and take a look at what the pocket clip would look like if you were carrying it. So I have just a dish towel here, and you can see how deeply that carries in there. It's nice and secure, and it really tucks away nicely. And just for some comparison, here's my Benchmade bug out, which has a like a true deep carry pocket clip by most people's standards. So what that looks like is if we put it over there, you can see the entire knife handle, for the most part, tucks right in. You still have a little bit sticking out, but this one will stick out a little bit more, but it's really pretty good. If we compare it to the Mini Griptilian, and you can see it tucks away really nicely. The Mini Griptilian definitely sticks out a little bit more. And frankly, I think the Mini Griptilian rides pretty nicely. And lastly, let's just take a Kershaw Blur for comparison. And you can see how much more that protrudes compared to the Leatherman Skeletool KB or, you know, the Benchmade, for example. So this is kind of a range for you. Yes, the Leatherman's going to stick out of your pocket just a little bit, but compared to a lot of the other options, it's looking pretty good. So Leatherman gets top marks on the pocket clip, in my opinion. So that's the overall walk around for you of this knife. So let's talk about the things I think Leatherman really got right. And then let's talk about a couple things that I think maybe you can make some improvements on if they ever do a design iteration on this particular product. So first things first is super lightweight. They really nailed that. They understood that someone buying this knife is going to be buying it because it's super lightweight, slim and compact, and going to carry nice and deep in their pocket. So as far as the ergonomics of the size and weight for, you know, kind of a backup EDC or a lightweight backup knife in your pack, they nailed it. Definitely a win as far as size and weight goes. Also, the knife blade is really nice. I like the blade shape, the 2.29 inches cutting length. That's cutting length. That's not back to the socket. That's the actual cutting length of the blade. It's solid. They did a really good job. It works smoothly. The thumb hole is a nice smooth deployment. You can do it one-handed, no problem. So it locks up tight. There's no wiggle up and down, side to side. So they really nailed the blade implementation on this knife, which we shouldn't be surprised. Leatherman is making multi-tools of all sorts of different shapes and sizes, and they know how to get a good knife blade into a compact package, you know, say a multi-tool handle. That's what they've been doing for years. They know what they're doing, and they've demonstrated again here. So keep it up, Leatherman. You definitely know how to put a nice knife into a small package. The pocket clip is super solid. I like that it has the cap lifter. Super long pocket clip keeps it from bouncing around in your pocket, and it doesn't add a lot of size and bulk to the tools. So I really like the pocket clip as well. And finally, this is all stainless construction. So we have the 420 HC stainless steel blade, which is fine, but then the actual body of the knife is also made of stainless steel. Even though it's coated in this black material, it is a stainless knife. So I like that, especially if you're in a marine environment, somewhere it rains a lot of snow, maybe you're out on the roads a lot, so there's salt and all that good stuff in the winter. It's gonna hold up really well over time. So like the all stainless construction, and for $30, pretty good deal. With all those good things being said, no honest review is complete without talking about a few of the downsides. And no product is perfect because each product is trying to hit a specific niche or work around certain design constraints to optimize it for its intended audience. So a couple things that I think limit this knife a little bit is it has a 420 HC stainless steel blade, which it's okay. I think it's going to work great for the kind of targeted backup use for this tool, or put it in a pack, lightweight EDC. It's going to be fine. You don't have that big of a handle, so you're not going to be able to exert a tremendous amount of force into what you're cutting compared to a larger frame knife. So I understand the design decision there. I just personally know they have 154 CM sitting in their factory because they're putting it on their wire cutters, and it's kind of like, well, you already have it right there, why not put it on the knife blade? Another thing I think Leatherman can improve with this knife design is they don't have any jimping anywhere on the top of the knife blade or even on like maybe the bottom here. And if you look at it, it's a relatively sleek design. It's very smooth and sweeping. There's not really a lot to catch your fingers. So, one of my concerns is it could slide up on your hand like that, especially if your hands are wet, like, outside using it at a campsite, something like that. I'm just a little worried that this knife, potentially your hand could slide up on it. And I think a little jimping right on the back where you rest your thumb would be super helpful, or maybe even just a little bit right here in the front underneath your index finger could definitely help make this knife just a little bit safer. It's a very small, compact knife, but without having a lot of meat on the back of the handle here, really you're putting a lot of pressure on your front couple of fingers, and I think having some jimping would really help make this knife a little bit easier to use, especially for extended. And the final design consideration I would probably offer up Leatherman is there's no way to attach this to a key ring. I was a little surprised that they didn't include one in the box or some kind of method of attaching this to a keychain ring, just because I could definitely see something like this being attached to a carabiner on the back of a backpack, or maybe even your keychain if you want to carry a large keychain ring around. But I was thinking kind of a carabiner attachment point, and maybe they could have incorporated it underneath the pocket clip right at the head here. They have this spacer plate there, and I think they probably could have incorporated a key ring hole there. There's a hole back here that you potentially could get a key ring through, but it's not straight, they're kind of offset. And then when you close the knife, you'll see that the tip of the knife blade goes about halfway through that hole. So I think if you put a key ring there, it's going to damage the tip of your knife over time, which is definitely not ideal. So those are the three things I'd probably change about this particular knife. I'd want a little bit higher quality blade steel, some jimping on the thumb ramp or underneath the index finger to prevent your hand from sliding up on it as it's being used, and then some kind of key ring attachment method so you could use a carabiner with it. I think that would be an ideal implementation for this knife. In fact, actually the Skeletool, the back of the handle is a carabiner. So that could work too. Maybe just make the handle just a little bit bigger by extending the sheet metal and have kind of a carabiner built right in. That'd be super cool. So what's my takeaway on this Leatherman Skeletool? Well, I think for $30, it's pretty hard to beat. It's a nice locking blade. Super lightweight. I mean, the weight on this is basically negligible. Seriously, you can't get any lighter than this. So if weight's a consideration, this is a great option. I would have really liked to see a 154 CM blade steel on this knife, but for the general population, a lot of people might not even know the difference. So Leatherman's probably saving a little bit of money using the 420 HC steel, and I get it. Only $30, super lightweight and compact, and with all stainless steel construction, should last a really long time. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button below. It helps the channel a lot. If you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you're the first to be notified when I release new videos like my knife sharpness testing video I referenced earlier. Cheers!